In the sun-drenched north of the Philippines, a new landmark is rising, not a resort, but a military runway. This development is not just a construction project, it represents a strategic pivot in the region. American and Filipino engineers work side by side, laying concrete that signals a major shift in regional dynamics. Their collaboration is a testament to the strengthening ties between the two nations. Officially, it's for disaster response and joint training, but its location facing the South China Sea tells a different story. It's a strategic position that cannot be ignored. This runway puts U.S. military assets closer to flashpoints like Taiwan and contested shipping lanes. It enhances the ability to respond swiftly to any regional tensions. It's a clear message to Beijing: America is here to stay. The presence is not temporary but a long-term commitment to regional stability. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, the U.S. can build facilities and pre-position equipment at Philippine bases. This agreement marks a new era of military cooperation. For years, EDCA was dormant, but now, urgency has fast-tracked projects like this. The geopolitical climate has necessitated rapid development. The alliance between Washington and Manila is deepening, visible in every foot of new pavement. This partnership is more than symbolic, it's a practical alliance. For locals, the construction is the sound of change, a transformation that brings both opportunities and uncertainties. For military planners, it's readiness, a readiness that ensures they are prepared for any eventuality. For Beijing, it's a challenge that tests their influence and control in the region. This runway draws a literal and figurative line in the sand, raising questions about sovereignty and security. It's a bold statement in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. Its impact will ripple far beyond the Philippines, shaping trade, stability, and the balance of power in Asia. The consequences of this development will be felt globally. The world is watching as this new strip of concrete becomes a symbol of shifting alliances. It's a focal point for international attention and speculation. The stakes have never been higher. This is more than just a runway, it's a pivotal moment in history. The U.S.-Philippines relationship is a story woven from threads of colonialism, war, and enduring alliance. It's a tale marked by shifting power, shared sacrifice, and the constant search for security in a changing world. After the U.S. took the Philippines from Spain at the turn of the 20th century, deep military ties began to form. These bonds were tested and strengthened during World War II, when American and Filipino forces fought side by side against Japanese occupation, forging a legacy of shared struggle. The 1946 Mutual Defense Treaty formally cemented their partnership, promising mutual support in times of external attack and laying the groundwork for decades of cooperation. For decades, U.S. bases like Subic Bay and Clark Air Base projected American power across the Pacific, serving as strategic hubs during the Cold War and beyond. But in the 1990s, a surge of Philippine nationalism led to the closure of these bases, a proud assertion of sovereignty and a turning point in the relationship. The alliance cooled, and the era of massive U.S. bases seemed to have ended, leaving behind empty runways and a sense of uncertainty about the future. Then, China's rapid rise and assertiveness in the South China Sea changed everything, introducing new challenges and strategic dilemmas for the region. Beijing's island building and militarization threatened Philippine claims and livelihoods, making the old alliance with the U.S. suddenly attractive again as a source of reassurance. New agreements like the Visiting Forces Agreement and EDCA allowed U.S. troops and equipment to rotate through Philippine bases, offering flexibility and support without the baggage of permanent installations. This flexible arrangement lets the U.S. help fund projects like the new runway, boosting Philippine capabilities and deepening cooperation. The Philippines, once a colony, is now a partner seeking security and stability in a volatile region, working closely with the U.S. to face new realities. The return of American boots and bulldozers is rooted in this complex, ever-evolving history, a testament to the enduring nature of the alliance. Today's cooperation is less about the past and more about countering new threats, adapting to a rapidly changing security environment. The runway is a product of this evolving partnership, symbolizing both resilience and renewal. It's a reminder, history shapes strategy, and the lessons of the past continue to inform the choices of today. In the Philippines, history is never far from the present. The echoes of old alliances and past struggles still resonate, guiding the path forward in uncertain times. The South China Sea is a global superhighway, one of the most vital arteries of international trade and commerce. Every year, nearly one-third of all world shipping passes through its waters, carrying trillions of dollars worth of goods, energy, and resources. Any disruption here would send shockwaves through the global economy, impacting businesses and consumers everywhere, from the bustling streets of Tokyo to the financial centers of New York. Beneath these busy waves lie vast oil and gas reserves, a hidden wealth that fuels fierce competition and overlapping claims from the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and especially China. China's sweeping 9-line claim covers nearly the entire sea, overlapping its neighbors' exclusive economic zones and sparking ongoing disputes. Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels regularly harass Filipino boats, block resupply missions, and escalate tensions in contested waters. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines, rejecting China's expansive claims, but Beijing simply ignored the verdict and continued its activities. The construction of a new runway in the Philippines is a direct response to years of Chinese pressure, maritime confrontations, and legal defiance. Outmatched militarily, the Philippines has turned to its longtime ally, the United States, seeking support through joint exercises and strategic cooperation. For Washington, the stakes are about more than just territory. It's about upholding freedom of navigation, international law, and a rules-based order in the region. The South China Sea has become a stage for great power rivalry, with both the U.S. and China flexing their military might and influence. This newly built runway stands as the latest and most visible symbol of a region at the heart of global competition and uncertainty. A military runway may look like any airport, but it's a tool of power, not just transport. It's built for rapid deployment, cargo planes, surveillance aircraft, and fighter jets. In the Philippines, it's justified as disaster relief infrastructure, but its strategic value is clear. Surveillance planes can monitor vast ocean areas, tracking ships and gathering intelligence. Fighter jets and bombers can launch quickly, reaching flashpoints like Taiwan or the South China Sea in minutes, not hours. This shortens response times and increases deterrence. The runway gives U.S. and Philippine planners flexibility for any contingency, relief, patrol, or defense. Its mere existence changes the strategic calculus for adversaries. It's not just concrete, it's a statement of intent. The runway is a silent but powerful symbol in a tense region. It's about options, deterrence, and readiness. In the Indo-Pacific, infrastructure is strategy, and this runway is a game changer. Beijing sees the new U.S.-funded runway as a provocation, another move in what it calls American containment. China views the U.S. as an outsider meddling in its backyard, challenging its ambitions in the South China Sea. The runway strengthens the first island chain, putting U.S. air power closer to China and Taiwan. For Beijing, this complicates any plans for Taiwan and undermines its regional dominance. China's carrot-and-stick approach to its neighbors is threatened as the U.S.-Philippines alliance deepens. Officially, China warns against targeting third parties and accuses the U.S. of stoking a Cold War mentality. Beijing sees the runway as an offensive platform, not a defensive one. This perception will likely prompt a response, diplomatic, economic, or military. The region grows more tense with every new slab of concrete. For China, the runway is a red flag. Filipinos are divided over the new runway. Many in the military and foreign policy circles see it as vital protection against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea. For them, the U.S. alliance is a lifeline, but others worry about sovereignty and the risk of being drawn into a U.S.-China conflict. Protests erupt, with some calling EDISA a dangerous return to old patterns. Locals near the site see both opportunity and risk, jobs and business, but also social and environmental concerns. Memories of past U.S. bases linger, fueling anxiety about cultural clashes and resource strain. For fishermen, the U.S. presence offers hope. For others, it's a magnet for trouble. The debate is deeply personal. Is security worth the cost? The runway is not just a foreign policy issue, it's a national dilemma. Every Filipino has a stake in what comes next. For the U.S., the runway is about more than helping an ally. It's central to its Indo-Pacific strategy. Freedom of navigation is at stake. The U.S. wants to keep sea lanes open and prevent any single power from dominating. The project reassures allies and upholds treaty commitments, signaling that America stands by its partners. If the U.S. falters, its credibility across Asia would suffer. The runway's proximity to Taiwan is crucial. It could be a staging point if conflict erupts. This deters Beijing and raises the cost of aggression. The U.S. China rivalry is about influence, not just military might. By investing in the Philippines, Washington strengthens its alliance network and counters China's model. The runway is a move in a larger game for regional leadership. America's message? Its vision for the Indo-Pacific is open, rules-based, and enduring. The stakes are strategic and global. The runway is proof of commitment. The new runway sends shockwaves across Southeast Asia. Neighbors like Vietnam and Malaysia, also facing Chinese pressure, quietly welcome a stronger U.S.-Philippines alliance. But ASEAN nations worry about being forced to choose sides, risking unity and economic ties with China. Allies like Japan and Australia see the runway as a boost to collective security, encouraging deeper cooperation. The move could trigger an action-reaction cycle. China may ramp up its military presence or use economic leverage against Manila. More ships and planes in close quarters raise the risk of accidents and escalation. The region's delicate balance is at stake. The runway is both reassurance and provocation. Every nation is recalculating its next move. The Indo-Pacific chessboard just got more crowded. The new runway sets the stage for a tense future. China will likely respond with pressure, gray zone tactics, military drills, or economic moves. The U.S. and Philippines must manage escalation, aiming for deterrence without provocation. Communication between Washington and Beijing is now critical to avoid miscalculation. ASEAN's unity will be tested as countries weigh security against economic interests. A broad coalition could help maintain order, but building it won't be easy. The runway is just one move in a high-stakes game. The world watches, hoping for peace but bracing for turbulence.